Hey everyone, today I want to talk about how companies with an enterprise agreement are losing thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars uh, with their enterprise agreement. And it's probably not what you think. You might be thinking, oh, this is a software asset management thing, or this has to do with not managing your licenses or reharvesting of licenses. Well, that's not it. This is a pretty simple one. If you have an enterprise agreement or if you have a Microsoft agreement with software assurance, then you probably have software assurance training vouchers. And a lot of times I see these go completely unused. And a friend of mine, Erik Cox, who's with Quickstart, they're a training company, and they're able to utilize these training vouchers. He sees this even more than I do because he deals directly with it. And so I asked him, what are some of the reasons why companies are letting these expire? And he gave me a few of the top reasons that he sees. So first of all, a lot of times after an enterprise agreement is finalized, everything's signed and POs are cut, a lot of times that contract moves out of IT's hands and is managed by somebody like purchasing. And purchasing, their role has nothing to do with training. They don't, these are free vouchers essentially that you're given. This isn't something that they manage. And a lot of times because a group outside of IT is managing it, they just get completely lost. In fact, Erik has actually seen a customer with tens of thousands of dollars in training vouchers. The purchasing contact essentially said, I don't care, and this isn't part of my role, so I'm not going to do anything with these, even though they're about to expire. So that's a big deal. That was tens of thousands of dollars that organization that they lost in training, and oftentimes companies are still paying for training because the IT department doesn't know that there's these training vouchers available. So you get hit kind of twice in those types of scenarios. Another reason why training vouchers go unused is that, on average, Erik says there's probably about 30 training vouchers for a typical enterprise agreement. And that's enough to send 6 people to a 5-day class. Well, if you have 10 or 15 or more people in your IT department who need training, then you're only able to train, less than half of your IT department. And the fact that those training vouchers are there doesn't mean that there's any budget for IT to send people to training. So rather than train part of the IT team, they don't train anybody. Another reason is that a lot of times there are these kind of more obscure courses, very niche courses for smaller technology, and there's just not enough demand for a class. And so rather than use those training vouchers for another class, maybe something like Exchange or SCCM or Windows Server, they just let those training vouchers expire because they were so focused on, we need training around this one technology. And finally, a lot of customers want their training vouchers to be used for end user training. And that's not what the software assurance training vouchers are intended for. They're intended for IT professionals, for higher end training, for things like Windows Server, System Center, SQL, something that an IT professional is going to be touching. And it's at a much more technical and detailed level than what an end user is going to get for something like an Office training or something like that. So those are a number of the reasons why training vouchers go unused. And there's some ways that you can get around that. If you're in IT and you don't manage your enterprise agreement, you need to have access to all the benefits. You need to know what is on there because then you could still use them. You could still assign them and take advantage of them. If you have a larger IT team and your training vouchers don't cover everybody, when you're planning, upgrades and new technologies to be utilized over the next 1 to 3 years, include training in the budget so that the rest of your team can get trained and it's not an all or nothing, or determine who on your team really needs the training and assign that training to them. And when it comes to having kind of these more niche classes, some technology that there's just not as much interest around from a lot of companies to get training around, have some backups. You can, if you are running Windows Server, you could update your team. You can get them additional training on that. If you're using SCCM, SQL, things like that, then you can utilize these classes to still educate your team. Maybe it's not the area that you initially hoped to get them educated on, but it's part of your business, and it's it's a critical piece. These are things that they're working on every day. So you can still educate your team and utilize these training vouchers. And there's no cost to you because it's a sunk cost in the enterprise agreement. So I hope this was helpful. This is maybe a little bit longer than my usual videos. If you did find it helpful, then please like and share it. If you have any questions or anything to add, please share those in the comment. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe. Thanks so much.